Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amanda Hopkins and I'm your host here today. I am so thrilled to have you here with us on this special day and time. We're so blessed to have Christel Hughes. And so I know many of you know Christel, but let me share a little bit about Christel with you. Christel Hughes is a multi-dimensional visionary medium and multi-sensory energetic intuitive known as the spiritual trainer to the stars. She specializes in energetic healing and rapid transformation for celebrities and individuals throughout the world. We're always in awe because of Christel's lightning-fast and laser-focused intuitive readings, which we'll be doing some of here today, that go directly to the core of the issue. She pinpoints it immediately and with such great detail. Christel's work has broadened to include connecting with Archangel Metatron and mediating for Metatron's cube to instantly shift a person's consciousness, undoing mental, emotional, and physical limitations, as well as opening up their higher channels of communication. And Christel's purpose is to channel and shine light into the world, to operate as a conduit of divine truth, working with people as they identify and develop their gifts and step into their purpose work. You know, Christel really is the reason we get to be here today on this platform. And so we're so blessed to have her here sharing her expertise with us. Christel, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Amanda. Oh, and beautiful community. Oh, my goodness. I just have this feeling of excitement and expansion and a tingling, and my heart is really happy that we're here today. So I just want to say thank you for giving your time and energy to this space and all that you have contributed to this community and this mission that we have to really allow each person to come to know their true spiritual gifts and in whatever way to bring those out to the world. That really is our mission. So I just want to bow in gratitude to each one of you, and Amanda, especially to you, for really supporting us and leading us. You know, this summit is really about everyone being touched by the message and by the light. So thank you for having me, and thank you, everyone, for all your contributions as well.
Oh, thank you so much for that. It really is an honor and a pleasure to get to be in service in this way. You know, it's so beautiful as we can all step out and shine that light internally. And that's what this really is all about, because as we all up-level, we support one another. And I'm just so inspired. Christel's going to be talking to us about extracting versus cutting toxic energy cords. So extracting, how is that different? You know, we all hear about cutting cords, and we know the importance of that, but I'm really curious to learn about extracting. And so this is new vital information that Christel's going to be sharing with us, and she's also going to be doing some intuitive readings. So Christel, I know many people have probably heard about cords, but some people may not be familiar with them. So can you share with us, to start off, what are cords?
Yes. Yeah. And I do want to say, because of course, as you started chatting a little bit, of course it inspired me, and I wanted to kind of jump ahead and jump in there and say, hey, wake up everyone. Because the way that we have been taught, the way that it's been passed down, and if you ask the majority of healers out there what you should do with cords, they are going to say, cut them. Or they're going to have the other side that says, well, that's a good cord, leave it there, right? And it's like taking this cord and making it a thing that needs to be dealt with, right? It needs to be dealt with. And what I want to share is such a different perspective. So I want everyone to stay present with me and let your ears kind of perk up, because this isn't going to be teaching you what you already know. It really is going to be a different perspective. And so the way that it's been shown to me is that cords are a material. They are created by the people involved or by the person and the identifying object as a way for the universe to reveal to you a behavioral dynamic. And it's a linking of consciousness. It's a form of interaction. And I see cords as conscious beings created by your energy field. They aren't the enemy. They are a part of you. And it allows for a level of engagement in energy to bring about a new vibration of truth and awareness. So as we said, they're conscious beings created by your energy field, and I'll share a little bit more about the specific part of your energy field later. But we do also see that, again, it's not just between person to person, and there can be themed cords. But the reality is that there's an agreement at a certain level. And usually that is an unconscious agreement. And these themes, these can be family cords, romantic cords, poverty cords. They can be around a specific emotion. They can be around a specific lesson. They can be cords that have been created because of karmic experiences that one needs to realize and overcome in order to master the intuitive gifts. So when you are present with another, whether that's another person or, like I said, an object, because everything is the divine, everything is really alive. The bioplasmic body really is sending out invitation, if you will. And sometimes we unconsciously receive that based on how porous our energy field is, but your bioplasmic body responds to it. So you might be sending it out, or you might be on the receiving end. And also, I think it's important because as we look at what category we're putting cords into, let's say versus hooks, right? With hooks, the whole aura can take the shape of a hook. But with cords, the aura doesn't become a cord, right? The cord forms itself from the plasma. It waits for a force to influence it, if you will. It's intelligent in that it knows to wait and only take shape as a result of an influential force acting upon it. So the question is, what's influencing you in your creation of cords? What's influencing the other person in their creation of the cord to create that behavioral dynamic and linking of consciousness?
Wow. This is a really profound distinction, Christel, because, it's really that difference between, okay, this is something that I don't want in me, I got to get rid of it, get it out. We're really moving from that to going, wait a minute, what is this really? What is this consciousness really? And I think that's so important because we have to look at how, what is it? What are those deeper dynamics? I know this is something you're always bringing to attention. We have to understand the deeper dynamics of why did we create something in the first place. So in a way, this really brings us into a greater empowerment when we're identifying chords and going, okay, wait, what is it within me that's contributing to the consciousness of this chord? What is that influence? I love what how you talked about that influence. So, what are the chords then actually made of?
Oh, yeah, this is what I've known this for a long time, but I kind of just settled on the first part of the answer when I originally asked this. So when I originally asked this years ago, because a lot of my programs actually have dealt with chords. I mean, one of my main programs, Soulmate Alchemy, actually teaches you how to consciously cut the chords, right? And I don't know when that first information came through, way back when, at least over 8 years ago, right? And the answer that came was that they're actually made out of bioplasmic material, okay? Now, I have gotten a whole new download of what this is, how it relates to your physical body, how it relates to the earth energy, and also specifically how it relates to the field of consciousness and how we're actually engaging with the field of consciousness. So they're made of bioplasmic material, which comes from each person's own bioplasmic membrane. And the bioplasmic membrane is organic. And the place that the bioplasmic membrane lives is, if you could imagine, just right at your skin level, but it's interpenetrating down below the skin and also into the etheric body, okay? And again, it's organic, but it's created in a way by our desire and our need to have a way of interacting with the consciousness field while we are a human on planet Earth, okay? So there's a lot of plasmic energy that is available in the cosmos. We actually are holders of it in our own energetic field. And when we look at the chords in the bioplasmic membrane, they're created by conditions. It's acting as a conditioned response mechanism, if you will. Okay, so again, think about how we're conditioned to respond, right? I mean, if someone throws us a dirty look, we're not going to just be all smiley, right? We have a conditioned response. No matter how evolved we are, I mean, unless we truly are at that enlightened being level, they throw us a dirty look, they say something about us, we're going to step back and we're going to pause, and there's going to be a facial expression, right? I mean, we have conditioned responses, and the bioplasmic membrane acts as this field that is a mechanism, and it reacts to impulses. It reacts to our subconscious. It reacts to karmic infinite intelligence. It reacts to our M field, which is the family lineage field of consciousness that puppets us. It also reacts to the positions of the planets and our own personal astrological cycles, prompting lessons. So it can be reconditioned, though, which is really cool. So when you think about, you've got this bioplasmic membrane. When you engage with a being and a chord wants to come out and be created, you're stimulating that bioplasmic material, and it begins to extend itself. And, of course, the intention of that engagement, if you will, that linking, is something else, right? But the cool thing about this is that we can self-regulate the membrane. It's a conscious part of us. We just haven't known about it. We haven't looked at it. But actually, in the self-regulation of the membrane, it's available to communicate with if we're conscious. okay, if we're conscious. And that's really the challenge presented to us, though, now, right? With these new energies coming in, I want you to really consider what's going on here. New energies are coming in that are cosmic energies, and it's provoking the permeability of your bioplasmic membrane. So as we all are pursuing these higher states of consciousness, guess what? The bioplasmic membrane becomes more permeable, right? And so we are feeling the impact of it. We're feeling the impact of it. And sometimes it knocks us on our butts, right? It's just like, whoa, what just happened? And our physical body takes a hit. Our emotional body responds and reacts. And suddenly it's like, wow, whatever it might be. Maybe we're having sleepless nights, or maybe we have to take a nap in the middle of the day. The bioplasmic body is this membrane with this kind of selective permeability. It's fascinating because when we understand this, the degree that we are permeable depends on our sensory acuity in relationship with our subconscious blueprint. Okay? So if we look at our subconscious blueprint, it holds our patterns, it holds our beliefs, it holds our paradigms, it holds our perspectives. How are we observing that other being? Is that other being aggressive? And therefore, what happens? Right? What happens? So there's things that occur that we don't even know about because it's so subtle with our bioplasmic body when we feel that someone is trying to manipulate us, when someone's trying to control us, when someone's trying to take our energy, right? These all happen in the dynamics of cords. We also have a different feeling when someone is courting us because they're falling in love with us, right? And what happens to that bioplasmic body? Ooh, right? It's like, oh, someone's reaching out towards me and sending me all this loving attention, and ooh. But that bioplasmic membrane becomes more porous according to our needs. But it also becomes more porous due to the degree to which we've implemented those spiritual practices. So as we open to the higher vibrations, the dimensions, these realities of our cosmic brothers and sisters, if you will, we evolve, and it's a part of that process. We're in constant need to adapt due to this stimulation. And when we can't adapt fast enough, we become stressed. And the bioplasmic membrane weakens, if you will, becoming more vulnerable. And this impacts our physical body. Then we have limited resources to be supporting us on the perimeter, kind of monitoring that which wants to invade us. Okay? So as we become stressed, our power of the discerning mind weakens, and the subconscious patterns take us over. Now, again, on this flip side, the bioplasmic membrane becomes more dense in a situation in which, it's one where we're chronically having to guard the self for protection, need to control, need to survive. But some of these high vibrational frequencies can actually trigger a survival response. And the bioplasmic membrane responds to that because, again, remember, it's a subconscious. It's so unconscious within us. And so here we are, beings that are like on this journey. We really are taking this seriously, if you will. Look, I'm ready to become and live as my higher self, right? I'm ready to be a channel for the divine light. But this bioplasmic membrane plays a huge role. And that permeability and the degree to which we allow things to enter in, to court us, to interact with our energy field, and especially as an empath. We have to be careful. So it's really important to be adaptable and also to stabilize to the new frequencies. And this is what I've discovered. We have to learn more about how this impacts. So the bioplasmic membrane is directly linked to our physical body. As I said, it's just at the skin surface, and it communicates with the physical body and the etheric, right? And so we see that it's linked to that physical body, and it penetrates through the skin, into the muscles, deep into the bones. And I recently did a session. It wasn't on cords or anything like that, but this client of mine has fibromyalgia. And when I was doing her session, I actually started seeing the etheric template body. Okay, everyone, I don't know if you're familiar with the etheric template. It's different than the etheric body. The etheric template body is the template to our physical body. Okay? And when we look at the etheric template body, what that is it's a template for the health of our physical body. So it energetically, as an energetic healer, you would look into the etheric template body of the person's aura, and you would instantly be able to observe the health and condition of their physical body and how close they are to removing the core issue that is causing, in this case, the fibromyalgia, right? So I'm tuning in and I'm seeing this red etheric template body, and I see that that etheric template body is responsible for telling the bioplasmic membrane how to respond to a situation energetically. And then that then informs the physical body how to react. If the message that comes from the physical body is that, this person's not healthy for you to interact with, or this situation is not healthy. Like, let's just say the example is that I want to do my purpose work, but my purpose work is to speak to a group of 500 people. And I'm scared of public speaking. Like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. What's happening is the etheric template body throws up a red flag and says, that person that's trying to get you to do that, that's not a healthy person. This isn't a healthy situation. And so because there's confrontation between the etheric template body and the etheric body, the bioplasmic energy responds. It literally takes on a feeling tone of, this essence isn't healthy. And so it begins to have a reverse effect on the natural production of moving forward, which you could even look at in the production of our own cells. So in essence, it's not allowing the electrical energy, the life force, that would create the cell anew, right, the natural duplication of the cell. It wouldn't allow that. It would reverse it. And it would literally then kill the essence of the cell. And what this is a direct reflection in how the person gets literally stopped in moving forward by creating a physical ailment. So stopped from moving forward in their purpose by creating fibromyalgia, right? And so, the proprioceptors of the body in the muscles and the tendons and the skin have been deeply impacted, creating this chronic condition. So we have to look at how permeable are you? What are the deeper fears? That bioplasmic membrane really can be used to create a means of offloading as well. So when we're in a high intensity wave of amperage, of high light, the amps go up, right? And here we are in meditation, and now suddenly we don't feel our body, we're lost in it. But what happens is when we start to come back to reality, all of a sudden we get caught up, and the bioplasmic membrane goes, oh shoot, this is too much for the body to handle. I've got to offload. And so what happens is empaths with too much energy coming at them in an attempt to offload might cord others inadvertently. They might cord others. And also a triggered emotional body. So our emotional body might get heated and it tries to offload to keep from frying out the nervous system. You see? So these are the things that are happening And we have to address them now because remember, again, we want to continue to evolve. We want to be, one in our community that is actually contributing to the consciousness of the planet, literally up-leveling. But we have to keep ourselves healthy. So we can't continue to be in a cycle where we are taking on all the high level of these intensity waves that are coming in, but then acting out and responding by trying to offload in a hurry and then inadvertently courting others or frying out our nervous system, you see. And the bioplasmic membrane is directly related and involved with the way that we're responding, whether we're courting, someone else, allowing ourselves to be courted, or being puppeted.
Wow, as you're talking, it's just there's so many questions I have, and one of the ones that's really coming to mind is you were talking about self-regulating and reconditioning the bioplasmic membrane. Just like with the physical body, if we want to get in shape, we have to exercise. I'm wondering, with the bioplasmic membrane, do we also have to have our consistent conscious practices? You talked about spiritual practices, but not just, I'm thinking not just from a standpoint of going into meditation, but also actually consciously being able to understand, okay, do I have cords, and how to identify and how to understand how they're really created and maintained? Mm-hmm. Is that a practice that we really need to have a handle on and do consistently to make sure that we are self-regulating our bioplasmic membrane?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so much attention to self-care, to really honing our skills and our intuition. Again, we're in the work of bringing people down the path to opening. But the issue is that if people that are going down the path literally put themselves under the guidance of someone that doesn't understand, it has to be an organic process. It can't be, hey, I want to, activate my Kundalini energy because I want to be enlightened, and boom. And actually there's a cord with that as well that can reveal itself. Maybe I'll share about that a little later. But yes, we need to look at the display of subconscious patterns within our body, and we need to really observe this bioplasmic body sheath, this membrane. It's influenced by the infinite intelligence. It is placed there karmically. It holds some of these karmic tags. It's triggered for protection, control, and survival. But what we look at on a daily basis, right, is that people would want to create cords and engage with the cords because, one, there might be some kind of trauma. And again, in a traumatic experience, it's, let's say, like a car accident, suddenly your body's impacted. And then all of a sudden, and maybe if it is karmic that you were to somehow get into this accident and learn whatever lesson, maybe have an out-of-body experience as your way of tapping into the divine, as crazy as it sounds, what happens is the cord would try to instantly, from the bioplasmic sheath, would try to ground into the earth, or it would attach to the car that you got in the accident with, because that seemed to be the first thing that's stable in its environment, right? Or it might be the person that comes to assist you, the nurse or the doctor, the technician, right? So the trauma can actually impact us to the point where it shakes up that bioplasmic membrane, and then suddenly we're reaching out in unhealthy ways. And we're not even thinking about reaching out to the divine. Okay. The other experience that I see where they're created and also maintained, right? We're talking about, why unhealthy cords are maintained. it's because there's some sort of agenda that is happening in the relationship or in the dynamic. And like I said, it could be with a person. He's my rescuer. He's my savior. He's going to keep me financially stable. Or my home is my safe place, and now I'm courting my home, right? And so there's an agenda that lives in the subconscious that, you know, that wants to somehow keep us having the exchange of energy. And the cord lives with the energy of the consciousness moving through it. It dies when there's no consciousness keeping it alive. And so what keeps it maintained and alive is, again, some kind of trauma, agenda, or expectations. Right? How many of us in relationship, like, right?
Right. Well, I'm thinking about this, Christel, because it reminds me that, you know I've had times where it's like we actually think we're getting something out of a relationship, and it's not actually reality. So it's like this false perception that keeps us in that cord, and it's not even real. We're not even, like you said, that expectation. Our expectation isn't even being met, but we're holding on to the hope of the expectation through the cord. So I think it's huge that we're aware of this. And we can really get through with ourselves. Mm-hmm.
We're holding on by a thread. Our relationship is holding on by a thread, which is actually the cord.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
It's the cord. So
right.
the expectations are they're imaginary. They live in the imagination. And think about how it's a whole world of imagination, this expectation of, you know, I'm in love with who he could become. Right? I fell in love with the highest potential of this person. There's an expectation that somehow maybe you're going to help him get to living out his highest potential. That's literally like a floating bubble in your aura in between you, and you put that out and you project that onto the other person, let's say in relationship. And what do you think happens with the bioplasmic body? Like, what's actually going on there that the bioplasmic body has to hold up this imaginary world of possibility based on your expectations? And maybe he's feeling like, wow, she makes me think that it's possible that I could be this person, but then he starts to resent it because you're trying to push him to become something he's not, and then suddenly the cord starts to die, which infects your imaginary world. It becomes toxic. You know, just recently I had a client and I saw an example of the braided cord. The braided cord, oh my goodness, the braided cord is really trying to mimic the Kundalini spiral, okay? And so the relationship was, I don't want to let him go, you know, even though it's a poisonous relationship. I'm settling, but it's better than nothing, right? But the reality is that this braided cord's trying to mimic that Kundalini spiral to give you the high that the Kundalini spiritual awakening would give you. And we have to wake up. The form of the cord is a direct reflection of the intensity of the conditions of that relationship. Okay? So I can look at a cord and I can go, here's the reflection right there. This is the condition that you have. Think of it almost like it including a contract that I could just read and go, here's the conditions. That this cord was created because of these conditions, expectations, agenda, or some kind of trauma, and maybe even the trauma that we're now trying to overcome, which we're talking about codependency. And so we see that a lot of cords as well are actually, let's say, in relationship, they're connected in to the sacral or the root chakra or even the power center. But what a person's really craving is a grounded state of being that would allow that one to be able to evolve masculine and feminine. But instead, they're looking outside of themselves to another person's masculine or another person's feminine and courting them and actively kind of getting the masculine and feminine to a place of self-sufficiency and reliability would be the goal, right? So don't go to him and tap into his financial situation to try to get your masculine to feel satisfied and secure, right? That's an illusion. And don't try to tap into her femininity in order to get satisfied with what she's doing and being and offering, right? So instead, we want to bring your own masculine and feminine to this place of self-sufficiency, reliability. You come online with your soul self as a state of being, and you don't require that courting anymore. So,
wow.
Yeah, brilliant.
I want to ask you something because I'm like on the edge of my seat here. I want to ask you about something that I witnessed. Because, you're talking about these cords in relationship to others, but as soon as you started talking about that braided cord, I see this often in sessions. I mean, countless times I've witnessed this braided cord that runs in and through and even can strangle the spine. And what I see it running to is up into the space of the mind. Usually it stops just like at the top of the neck, like right at the base of the skull. And usually it's in relationship to what I've seen is it's in relationship to people's perceptions about what their connection with their higher self, their soul self really is. So can these cords also affect our capacity and our relationship to connect with our higher knowing, to connect with our higher self and really be open and available to what wants to come through?
There can be that, like I was saying before, kind of trying, right? In Metatron Hughes sessions that I've been working now for years on to help people open the proper channels to regulate the energy rising, right? So that people can open their intuitive gifts. Again, it needs to happen organically. It needs to happen naturally to avoid the issues. If we're doing anything to create something that's artificial with the imagination without actually coming into the place of understanding, right? And this is my job. Like, I have literally taken it on to train people to observe their own energy as healers, to know what they're doing in sessions. Don't get me on that soapbox. But what you're pointing out and what you're seeing is truly there. We don't want something artificial, and we don't want to jump ahead, and we don't want to just claim, I'm an enlightened being. We want to take the steps, and we want to be a good student, right? We want to be a good student, and we do have to go deeper to go higher. And if we just go higher without setting a strong foundation of understanding about our energy, then we're gonna topple over, or like I said, we're gonna have a false sense of structure, and then we're going to try to then cord the earth in unhealthy ways and create unhealthy dynamics to get that lesson. So one of the other things that I have to say is that there's this thing called empathic disassociation that can be a chronic condition, because we are so sensitive now, right? I mean, we all can feel in whatever ways the dysfunction of the consciousness in the field, because it's an unhealthy response to the planetary conditions that are literally triggering the subconscious of the collective, right? And sometimes what happens is we don't want to deal with it. I mean, as empaths, we feel so much. We know we don't want to sponge it. So we literally chronically jump out beside ourselves or out of our bodies for, a large part of us lives outside of the body. And then that makes that bioplasmic membrane more permeable, and that's when we can literally get attacked or take on an entity, and an entity can court us prior to it taking us over. And people can be like entities. That's why we feel the energetic vampires and those types of experiences that we have to go through. So we do have to make sure, because in this healing sessions, in looking at it, we often find remnants of cords that are lingering in the chakras of the client, and they would claim to have already cut them. They sincerely thought that just this simple technique of cutting would work, but it doesn't, and it didn't, right? So the reason why, and you'll see that because the bioplasmic energy is working with the infinite intelligence and also related to the dishing out, if you will, of a karmic experience, they will usually pick chakras to go into because the chakras are representative of our ascension, right? We ascend and bring the energy through the chakras like a ladder that we're going up, and we don't ever want to skip over that. So we'll see them there in the chakras. And so we need to get the reason for that cord, and we need to learn how to fully extract them and get all of that person on board for letting go. So your clients, if you're a healer, you've got to get your client on board for really letting go. And if you are the client, just remember me saying this. In order to move on, we really have to understand that behavioral dynamic. Take the time to do that. Most of the time people complain now about, I've done so much healing work, or, I don't want to take the time. It should be easier by now. We have come a long way, and we're doing great, but it's worth the time. It's worth the time to understand and go deep and really become aware of your own energy and to learn about it, not become dependent on a healer. Really invest in learning yourself so that you can move up this, ladder of evolution for your soul, your higher self, to descend into your body to fully ascend.
Yes. yes. Christel, I do hear this all the time. I get this constantly in session. I thought I cut that cord, or I cut that cord. Why is it still there? So can you share with us, what's the difference between extracting versus cutting?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, it's so easy to call on Archangel Michael, right? We love Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael, we call upon you now. Cut, cancel, boom. It's like, but again, I want you to think about this in really understanding the reason why that was created in the first place, identifying what percentage is that cord really taking you out. What was your subconscious patterning that got you into the situation into the first place? Taking responsibility, right? And remember, the bioplasmic membrane, it can be dense because once the cord was created, based on maybe agenda, it locked itself in there, and then it caused the bioplasmic membrane to become dense, right? So then it's much harder to remove the cord fully. And if you cut it, like most people do, it leaves the main tendril roots inside the bioplasmic field and body, your chakras, which link to your membranes, which link to your organs. Hello. We are looking at massive cords where people have just linked into your kidneys to drain your prenatal energy, sucking you dry, right? Which impacts that flow of light. Ultimately, it starts to cause this material, almost like a calcification material. I can think of rust in the channels, or rust in the pipes. So the communication channels get all rusty and calcified, and then it impacts your ability to evolve beyond the patterns and beliefs because you haven't addressed them. So really we want to see that just going in, cutting them, even consciously getting the lesson but cutting still isn't enough. It's really important to extract the cord in a way that is healthy for the bioplasmic membrane. And it's huge. I mean, we really, everybody from this moment on, really say out loud, okay, Christel, I got it. I'm not now going to be just doing cutting cords. I'm literally going to awaken to the reason of what's going on because it's creating toxicity. And so what happens is we've got to check to see the tendril roots. How far are they engaged? How far have you engaged in the dynamic of the original reason? How deeply are they embedded? Okay? How is it affecting and impacting? What are the consequences? The tendril roots stimulate the nervous system and the meridian pathways. So they're toxic if you don't extract them because potentially you're leaving the cords to recreate, okay, but it's not going to be pretty. It's like scar tissue. And so for sure it's going to cause issues with the nervous system. And then we can look at the different areas. The physical body is going to look at it like a foreign object that's been left behind after surgery. Right? It's like, whoa, now what is it doing? The mental body is going to be taunted by it being there, right? The emotional body is going to feel, emotional body feels these phantom impulses. It's almost like nostalgic and being pulled back to the past and unresolved issues. The etheric template body, well, that's going to be deformed as it struggles to kind of go around the cord, or, it's like it warps the etheric template body. And in return, again, remember, that impacts your physical body and the health of the physical body. Impacting the celestial body of the aura, well, that impacts your telepathy, your connection with the divine. It impacts your boundaries with the etheric template. So when we start to really observe the degree to which we've got to pay attention now and look at, oh my gosh, how many remnants of cords have we left in there? And how many cords do we actually have now that are unconscious? How is it impacting your life, your body, and delaying your light body building out because things are not ready yet from the divine perspective. Oh, she still needs to evolve. She still needs to get these lessons. The light body's not going to build out. It's not going to take in the light. So it's really preventing you. Like it throws your consciousness into a spin, right? Throws your consciousness into a spin, and it doesn't allow the messages, those internal messages, to be conveyed in the proper way. So you're literally misinterpreting intuitive messages coming in. And again, the expectation that you have of how far along you are in your spiritual path can, be distorted. And so, and it can also prevent you from attracting what's yours, because the space in your body is already being taken up by something else, whether it's the cord or someone else's engagement, because remember, the cord is a conscious being, so it does contribute to you. It could contribute lies to you, false energy, false impressions. Okay, so it's vitally important for us to look at
my goodness.
it properly.
It really is. I can't stress enough what you're saying is so significant. In working with the body, when people come to me with an issue, usually after session, a phrase I hear so often is, "Whoa, that's not at all what I expected." And so it's because of this dynamic where going into, like you said, going into and understanding what was really the reason for these different things being created. And so I can't stress the importance of being able to really consciously go in and look at this. So, Christel, I have a bunch more questions, but I feel like people are probably on the edge of their seat wanting to know what their block is. Are you open to going in and doing some readings? And we can come back to some other questions. Yes.
I am. We need to bring the light to this, everybody, and this is what you're going to see. I'm bringing the light, and I'm shining that light for you on that issue because we need to shift it. It's not enough to know the information, everybody. I'm going to be giving you direct information in these readings, but it's because I need you to then take that and do something with it. And so that's why we've created this call. That's why we've created the Extracting the Toxic Energy Cords workshop. So if you really take what I offer up to you, that is valuable, and that is literally going to be able to be used in the workshop today, okay? So I'm up for it. Let's do it.
Christel, I would take it one step further and say it's essential. Based on what I've seen in session, what you're sharing here, it's essential. It's a basic. You need to know this, right? So I think it's really important to stress the significance of understanding this. So let's go ahead and get some clarity. We're going to let's start with Virginia. Last 4 digits of the phone number are 0632. Hello.
Hi. Thank you, Amanda, for taking my call, and thank you, Christel, for taking the time to do my reading today. I appreciate you both.
Yeah, you're welcome. What's your name?
My name is Dawn.
Okay.
May I please ask what is the main cord that is blocking my divine connection, please?
It's coming from the right side of your body, going directly into the front of the throat chakra. It's taking out your ability to express all that you're needing to express, okay? So what happens is you're monitoring what you're saying or what you need to say, and you're diluting that message. Now, what I can tell you is it's coming from a masculine energy on the other side, and that masculine energy is a force of energy that actually desires you to be you, but because you're monitoring, he's not really feeling as if he can support you as much as he would like, okay? So when we look at this, this is coming from a deeper issue 5 past lives ago, and the expression of this in that past life was one in which you wanted to be more appropriate than truthful. Okay? So the situation, the scenario would dictate what you would say. Okay? So that's what we need to work on. And the percentage it's really taking over is high. It's about 92%.
Fascinating. And so scary that it's that much, but I really appreciate the reading.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Oh my goodness. Yeah. How many times that makes me think, how many times do we do something we tend to do something that's more appropriate than truthful? I think that's a good reflection for people. Let's go to Georgia. Last 4 digits, 3431. Hello.
Hello, my name is Marilyn, and I would like to know what's blocking my divine flow.
Sure. So we're going to your liver. We're seeing a liver cord there, and I see it's kind of gnarly at the edges, right? So your liver's trying to offload this cord, but it can't do it. And interesting that this cord is an aggressive cord. So somebody was trying to take you out with this cord. Now, when I say trying to take you out, I don't mean kill you. It's just like either close you down or shut you up, or maybe you're too light for them and they really want to, like, you know, close it down. But it's aggressive because it's a responsive, reactive cord on their side. They've plugged into you. But symbolically, with this going into the liver, there's resentment on their side. There's anger and jealousy. Okay? I can't see who that goes to. It's a spiral, though, and again, it's really decayed. So we've got to get that out of there. Now, let me see where it is in this lifetime, but it also reflects in a past life timeline of 13 past lives ago. Okay? And it feels as if it's kind of a taking you out, almost like a suffocating you in that lifetime. Okay?
Okay. So it's someone also actively now that maybe I'm too light for them, or
jealousy
whatever.
and envy and
Okay.
Yeah. Thank
Well,
you.
thanks for letting me know.
Christel.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, Marilyn. Let's go to North Carolina. Last four digits are 0979. Hello?
Hello, this is Geraldine.
Hi.
Hi. Can you tell me what my major block is to my flow?
This cord for you is coming in the third eye. It dips down and wraps around the throat and comes back out the third eye. This is one that's trying to make you more of, remember I was saying kind of like the puppet. It's like they want you to see what they want you to see. They don't want you to see the truth. It's a deception cord, okay? And so the dynamic of this deception cord, I'm actually seeing a woman, a female on the other end, and this is a deception cord. Now, what I can tell you is the percentage of that cord reducing your sight, right? Creating almost an illusion of a relationship. That is about 46% right now. And again, it's coming down and also moving around the throat, which means that they don't really want you to be able to express what you see to them. So they might be in denial and they want to stay in denial. And in talking to you, if you are a seer, if you can see truth and you're going to speak it, they don't want to hear it. Okay? So that's the cord. And once you clear this, what's going to happen is your clairvoyance is actually going to open up and be able to connect more with your throat chakra. So the sight, the vision with the truth flowing into it is going to be a greater confirmation and validation for your own clairaudience and clairvoyance.
Well, that's beautiful.
So
what do I do?
You want to do the workshop. We're going to literally do the workshop. And we're going to, don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging. So we're going to do the workshop. I'll take you through everything that you need to do, and you'll be free of that, okay? Because we're going to, in the workshop, we're going to work on our own behavior, but also we're coming into an understanding of why that's there, right? Remember I said taking responsibility for it, because most of the time in doing the readings even, people can feel like they're a victim to what's happening outside. Oh, so-and-so is doing this to me. We can't take that stance. We have to know some part of us allowed it to happen, okay? And now let's do something about it so we can move on. We got our lesson. Let's go, right? Yeah.
So, yeah, that's so important. Thank you. I want to talk about the workshop in just a minute here so that people know what's available. But I want to take a couple questions from the Q box. Jacqueline from Philadelphia says, my ex uses threatening to fight for custody as a way to trigger me. I've done cord cutting meditations on this and used body talk to no avail. Can you do a reading for Jacqueline?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. You know, what's happening is this is another aggressive cord. It's literally coming from the right side of you, wrapping around your waist, plugging into the power center. The tendril roots then are going down and seeping into the sacral and then flaring up like inflammation in the intestines, in the root chakra, so sacral root chakra in the intestines. Now, one of the things that we've got to do with this cord, because it is so aggressive, the energy is being pumped into you, okay? And so we have to not have you receive that. So it's not just the cord that is allowing the energy to be pumped into you that's throwing you off. There is energy coming from outside that's also bombarding you, if you will. So we're actually, with this circumstance, going to need to bind the energy outside of. We've got to literally remove the whole cord and extract it, and then we need to bind that cord, and there's a way to do that so that this energy cannot keep coming back, but we've got to strengthen you. You would be the one doing the binding by calling forth the energies of the universe, right? So we can do that, but we have to make sure that your power center, your sacral, and your root are strong so you feel confident. And again, you're not at the effect of, you're not reacting to. We have to look at your perspective on what's going on, and we have to adjust that perspective, because the perspective is weakening your system, making the bioplasmic membrane permeable to this happening, right? And ultimately, everyone, we've got to do this in a calculated way so that we aren't recreating, right? Cutting allows for the recreation. Extraction and really upgrading the systems and repartnering with higher self-consciousness is what we're going to be doing so that it can't keep happening. And then your future timeline can shift. Then the circumstances around you can shift.
Yeah, thank you for that. You know, I want to take some more questions, but I really want, I can feel people wanting to know, what can we do? So I want to have you go ahead and share more about the workshop. But Christel, can you share with us what's going to happen in the workshop that will support the extraction of the cords so people really can be free?
And that's our goal. So we're looking at freedom, we're looking at vital energy moving through your body, and we're looking at complete illumination. So as you just heard me, I basically stated, what we're wanting to do is that we are going to go through and think of it almost like reaching a marker. We're literally going to do some healing work, and we're going to reach that point, that next step up, and then we're going to do more healing work, and then we're going to go to the next level. So we're really doing this in parts. And as we go in, I want to train you, right? I think it's really important for you to understand the core dynamics of cords and the extraction of them, how to retract the ones that you've put out, right? And to also learn about your own behavioral dynamics. What are your life lessons? And how are you actually being intimate with the bioplasmic membrane and feeling the subtleties of that? When someone starts to draw the bioplasmic membrane from your body in a willingness to cord with you, what does that feel like? What is it? So we're going to have you learn and understand. And also, I'm going to share with you how to prepare your body, your aura for that deep release, and then really discover why it's so important to ground the bioplasmic membrane with your physical body so that, again, you're not receptive, you're not open, the bioplasmic membrane doesn't remain porous, but it's also not guarded and shielded. We're not doing any kind of guarding and shielding. We're utilizing the power and the strength of the light of truth and being willing to open up. So we're doing the integration on the aspect that has allowed the cord to be created in the first place. You see? Why has it? And then what we're doing is we're going to go deeper in then as you start to understand, we're literally going to extract the cords with people that parents, whether they're living or crossed over, spouses, partners, siblings, children. Now, this is where, it gets, some of us have this experience of, what's it going to do if I extract the cord altogether with my partner? Is it going to change the dynamics of our relationship? Yes, for the better. And don't you really want it for the better? So think of it almost as a reset or a new beginning, right? You want healthy cords. Healthy cords are fine. We're not saying don't recreate a cord. If it's a healthy relationship with your partner and your spouse, those will naturally happen because, again, we've created a new foundation of you and who you are and how you hold yourself and the embodiment of the higher self-consciousness in your being. So automatically that's telling you that you are literally going to recreate those that are meant to be recreated, but it's going to be a healthy cord, which means that you're going to be sharing your energy and consciousness through the bioplasmic membrane, enhancing the relationship and enhancing the evolution of both parties, right? So also we've got to look at places and organizations and exes and any experience you might have had from sexual assault experiences or abandonment or abuse, any vows, promises, oaths, even looking at your future timeline where you have created a cord with some kind of dream that you had. Remember I said, like, the expectations is an imaginary world that you create that actually you engage with and unconsciously. So we've got to look at how it's pulling your energy and is that really the best thing for you. Some of these things are outdated. So we have to look at that. Portals in your home, items in your home, ancient artifacts from past lives, and like I said, even your home, any perpetrators, entities, ghosts, the family M field, parallel lives, past lives, future lives, diseases, disorders, conditions. It goes on and on and on, right? So once we actually do that deep clearing, then we can take a breath and then we can allow for the energy. We're going to be doing a process. It's like a ritual of initiation and illumination. Again, this is all being cleared by Metatron's Cube, but it also is an initiation with Metatron's Cube. It's allowing you to redistribute that energy because think of it. If your bioplasmic membrane has literally been being pulled in, 100 directions because you've got 100 cords in your being, and let's say you only need, maybe 20 of those cords and not 100 cords. Imagine now reclaiming that energy. It can be redistributed. So you're utilizing that for your health of your body. You're utilizing that for upgrading your spiritual consciousness, your emotional intelligence, your mentality and perspective, which can then support you in upgrading your clairs and building out your light body, right? And so then again, you are going to repartner with your higher self, and you're going to now come into a fresh new place of being. You've created space within your being. And now you've got this energy where you're embodying it as pure truth, as light, the light of the divine. The infinite intelligence is directing you. It's guiding your steps. It's guiding your consciousness. And that will allow you to make healthy connections in the way that you're meant to for the ultimate evolution of your soul and the enlightenment of your physical body, emotional body, mental body, and literally the enlightenment state of being conscious.
So beautiful. That's one of the things as you're sharing about this, Christel, one of the things that have been coming to mind is that so often you had talked about when we create the cords, there's usually something we're seeking or wanting. And there's a reason behind the cord cutting. So, you know, what I was thinking, I'm like, when we extract the cords, well, then what? You know, what needs to happen? Because we don't want to then go, oh, wait a minute, now there's a void. But you just answered that so beautifully. It's like really allowing yourself to come into that space where you're illuminated with the energy that you were trying to get outside of self. So it's so profound. This is so beautiful. Thank you for bringing this forward.
You're welcome. It is a way of awakening. This is a way of awakening, right? And also, I want to share with everyone that there's going to be a bonus that includes a live component with this. So I'm going to be on that 2-hour live workshop experience with you. And if you've done any of my other ones, you know it's beautiful. It is enlightening because we go deep into the subject, but we've taken on a journey with Metatron's Cube. But I have to share with you that I've actually enrolled Sophie Bidar, and she is one of our beautiful Academy ambassadors. And she and I work so well together, and she really is someone that I've worked on. I worked with her on the Parasites and Portals program that I did. But she has offered up to do a live call with you because she really is a master of all things emotional. And a big part of the behavioral dynamics with cords is the emotionality around them, the emotional vibrations that flow through them, the emotion that keeps you attracting that, the emotion that keeps them in place, right? Recreating the dynamics because of the emotion. So she is actually going to do a live call where she will do an intuitive reading with everyone on the call. And this is going to be done prior to the workshop. So if you get in before we do that workshop, like don't wait. If you know this is something that you want to do for your awakening, get in because I want you to be able to get on that live call. She's setting up, I think it's going to be 2 live calls. Prior to the workshop, she's going to intuitively read your number one emotion of attachment present in the cords. And that's going to really allow for you to understand because the way that she sees that is there's a stream of energy with this unique point of origin where this cord can come from, but also there's like a web of multiple origins from the past timeline or the genealogical lines. So you can look at that on the offer page and you can see what's there. But she really is going to go deep in this and identify that with you, analyzing the primary emotion for the conscious, unconscious presence within your being, the impact it might be having on your relationships, your behaviors, and also allowing you to release that emotion. So really, this is such a complementary experience so that you can step out of the fixed patterns and those behaviors that really have predefined you and the personas, right? And then allow for the expansion of your body. Allow for your whole body to relax in the knowing that your consciousness is now going deeper within you, refining itself within you, coming away with that feeling of inner peace that's going to naturally arise. So this is a beautiful commitment to your awakening. I invite you to come along on for me, it's always a journey that we're going through, and to really be there for extracting the toxic energy cords. And then also the live workshop with her, the emotional attachment awareness and the intuitive readings.
Well, Wow, what an amazing addition. I know there's so much power in having that identified, having those factors identified before going into the workshop, and it gives such a depth, another added layer to an already amazing workshop. So this is really incredible. And I know those calls are coming up really, really soon. So like Christel said, you don't want to wait. I mean, this is happening really soon. So make sure you're feeling the call, get in now. Such a reasonable price, so much value. This is truly extraordinary. Thank you so much. And thank you for enrolling Sophie. She's so brilliant. You know, for those of you who sign up, you're just going to love her. You're just going to love her. Christel, there's a question in the Q box here from Donna that says, and you talked about this a little bit, but I want you to clarify. She says, yes, this is important, but we have so many lifetimes to resolve, and who knows what's involved in all these cords. Cutting cords is just a part of the process of healing. So what do you suggest for the whole healing process? And I know that's probably a really in-depth answer, but can you kind of give us a glimpse of how this isn't just cutting cords? It's so much more. I know you've spoken to that, but
I
can
think
you
I already said it.
You
know, I think I already said it. This is awakening, but let me tell you, there's many ways that you can awaken. There's ways that you can awaken that have a lot more struggle. And every action that we take allows for an experience to occur after that action. And for me, I'm intense, but I want to find the most efficient way to do something that will yield results for my future, right? So, yeah, I could go and keep cutting and just go, okay, that's an experience. We're going to live, you know, in many more lifetimes. How do you know? How do you know how many more lifetimes you're going to live? So you don't know, and none of us know. What we're here to do is experience what the universe has brought to us. We're here to understand and learn and recognize and grow in that way so that we are literally coming into a greater level of mastery of our masculine and our feminine. And part of what we've been missing is the feminine. And the feminine is more efficient. And so for me, this is really about awakening in a very efficient manner. This is an efficient way. It's not the old way where the masculine is trying to get out of being thorough or getting out of being consistent, where the old masculine starts a project and never finishes it, starts it and maybe doesn't even get midway through it, and they've left, abandoned the project. We all have to upgrade and up-level, and we're being called to that right now. We're being called to repartner with our higher self and to actually engage in a more mature way with our higher self through the work that we're doing with energy and energy healing. So, and we see this reflected. There's new energy, this new plasmic energy wave of the cosmos that's coming in. And so we're going through this remarkable metamorphosis, this transformation. And so we actually, it's no coincidence that I started learning about the bioplasmic membrane at the time when we literally are drawing more plasma down into our planet and activating those codes. That's not a coincidence. It's on purpose. And so we all have to really look at this as an incredible opportunity. And for you guys, you're in this time, in this moment of creation. And we are creating this new paradigm. And so as we have seen the waves of light coming into the earth grids, it's been accelerating our progress. But if we're to actually keep up with that, we have to look at these plasmic particles that are coming in right now and willing us to up-level in this emergence, an emergence as a collective experience. And that's what's happening. There is the plasmic particle experience that is emerging within, and we're able to use these new geometric structures. And so that's what we're doing with Metatron's Cube. We're partnering with our consciousness, Metatron's Cube consciousness, and we literally are integrating it and supporting the awakening of our planet and us on the planet.
So when you say that, partnering with Metatron's Cube and the planet, just there's such a grounding aspect. But I know it's important. You know, I was just shown that image when you were talking about how the light comes in, but we have to offload it. And so I just thought like running off of people. But that's what this is really about, is creating that space to receive the light, to receive all that's wanting to come forth in and through as that conduit. So powerful. Thank you for going deeper into that. I'd love to take a few more questions.
Sure.
Halala from Egypt says, "Hi, Christel. I've been told that I'm connected to spirit, but some childhood traumas are preventing further connection. Is there a cord blocking my divine connection?"
Yes, that cord is going into the root chakra, coming up, and then it's almost like it has these little barbed tendril roots around it. So it's actually created in a way that it would be shameful for you, almost like you're hurting your own self if you were to take it out, which is a twisted consciousness, right? Am I being selfish now to actually remove this? So why was that created in the first place? You know, any of that trauma or drama that was created that you got sucked into, why was it created in the first place? And we need to get to that, because this is actually taking about 66% of your energy away from you, connecting in the proper way and being grounded. So it's impacting your ability to ground, and with that, it's not allowing you to feel secure and safe on the, you know, the earth plane foundation, if you will, to then build up and build out.
Thank you. Anna from NYC says, "What is the main cord blocking my divine connection?"
Okay, this is actually coming into the right ear chakra, impacting your clairaudience. And what I can tell you there is that there's some hurtfulness, there is some energy of attacking energy. And, you know, when I look at this, it's almost like your ear canal is swollen on that side. The energy percentage it's taking is right at about 98%. So that's the degree it's impacting your clairaudience. And so we want to make sure that any of that hurtfulness, the scolding energy, it's like a making fun of even, right? Making fun of you, that's what we're seeing that needs to be cleared.
Thank you for that. Marielle from Quebec says, "What is the main cord blocking my divine connection?"
That's the heart. And what I see is there's 3 parts of this one. There's a lot of sadness and anguish around this. This has to do with betrayal. And it's 3 separate little cords making one, but they come together only when they attach into the heart. So one's coming from the front left, the front right, and from up down. And then right when they get to the heart, they like merge into one, and they become a cap. The cap's off the front heart, and this is impacting you 76%.
Thank you. Becky from Wyoming says, "What is the main cord blocking my divine connection, Christel? Thank you for all you do for humanity."
Thank you. This is in the sacral chakra. This is throwing off something. It's like causing moodiness. It's causing you to feel kind of out of sorts or not yourself. And what I can tell you is it's moving out, almost like, think of like it's pussy and swollen. I know it's not a good visual, unfortunately, but it's like a small balloon that's been filled up in there. So this is some necrotic tissue in that area, which would not only impact the area of the sexual organs, but also going into the rectum and then into the intestinal region that I'm seeing. So when we look at this is something that you can't delay. You know, it's kind of like having an abscess of your tooth. You know, it's abscessed. And so your body is really rejecting the energy of this bioplasmic cord.
Thank you. Definitely want to get that one extracted. Let's go over to the phone line. Let's go to Illinois. Last 4 digits are 1769. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Oh my God.
Yes.
I'm so excited you picked me. Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to know what the number 1 block is for me. It feels like I've been through so much in my life the last couple of months, and now I'm coming up with all these like illnesses and you know, COVID and yes, please, thank you.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you, you've got one coming in the back of the brainstem. And what I can see it's more like a little kind of slimy, snaky cord that's wrapped around. Now, I can't see where this is linked. And again, sometimes the divine wants you to see that, right? So it's not that I'm always seeing where it's linked to, but it's this slimy cord that's coming down, and I can tell that this energy is a prejudice coming at you. It's a past life origination point. But what's happening is there's a lot of prejudice, there's a lot of inauthenticity around this. In other words, it's that they are blaming you and shaming you, and they're even humiliating you. Okay? Now let me see how many past lives ago. We're going 36 past lives ago. And the energy that's happening here, it's about 97% where it's taking you over. Now, when I look at this energy, slimy kind of coming down, it comes down to the mid-back, and then it's pokey. So it's almost like the tendril roots for this are poking into the back of your heart, which has you become more fragile and more vulnerable to the affliction of these energies and the cord.
Wow, that makes perfect sense.
Oh,
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you both. Let's go to Wisconsin. Last 4 digits are 9306. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, well, maybe we'll try to come back. Must have been muted. Let's go to California. Last 4 digits of this phone number are 7355. Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
How are you, Christel?
Oh, I'm well, thank you.
Do I have any negative cords attached?
Okay, let's see for you. There's one that's coming up in your hips. It's coming up and into the root chakra, but it's impacting the hips and the legs, and the vibration can't move through your legs so well. And when I see this, there's a lot of rigidity. It's almost as if there's stiffness, okay? There's stiffness. Now, again, this is energetic, but it's stiffness. So this would be almost a feeling of I can't move forward, or it takes too much energy or too much effort to do this, to engage. And so there's a tiredness that's around this, a tightness, blockages. The meridians are only channeling a very small amount of the energy that they want to actually move through your body and get through. So this is definitely causing a blockage. Okay, now let me see where this is linking to, because I get that there is ultimately almost a feeling of not good enough that's arising. And this is a past life, and we're going 6 past lives ago. Okay, so it's causing some kind of being inhibited and immobile. Ultimately, we don't want that to happen. So we want to work on this now so that you actually, don't get to that chronic state and your hips are really open and flexible and run that energy through the legs and the feet to really allow you to have that freedom. Okay?
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank
you. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So let's try our caller in Wisconsin again. Again, last 4 digits of the phone number are 9306. Hello.
Hello.
Yay! Here you are. Are you still there? Oh, goodness. Sound went out.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, there you are.
Thank you.
Let's just get her name, and I'll do the reading.
Yeah,
so
what's
if
your
it falls
name?
off again.
It's Linda.
Okay, Linda. All right. Let me do your reading.
Okay.
Okay, so let me go in here. So yours is actually corded into the brain. It looks like it's about as round as a basketball coming down in. And this is more of like an octopus cord kind of sucking that energy out. This is more of an aggressive kind of attacking energy, but the reason why is it's wanting what you have. Okay, so it's wanting what you have, and it's coming out. Now, I see that there's 2 people involved in this energy. It looks like a masculine and a feminine energy. All right, now let's see when this was created. So we're going before birth, but we're looking at the past life, and we're seeing that this was about 71 past lives ago, okay? Now, what I can tell you is in this past life, it almost looks like they're calling you like the star child, okay? Now, the star child in that past life was really a form of, it was a label that was given to you because it appeared that you had these kind of mystical abilities, right? And so someone wanted to take advantage of that and kind of cord you, so they had you doing things. Think of it almost like, you are working for someone and they're making money off of you, right? So you had these magical, mystical abilities. They kind of grabbed you and took you and made you work, and they made the money, and you were a slave, okay? And so this is what I'm seeing right now. Your soul is wanting to get rid of this dynamic, and you don't want to be in the fear of having it happen again, where you would be taken advantage of because of your spiritual gifts, right? So you've been avoiding using your spiritual gifts to the fullest potential because of this, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. I'm glad you got through. Thank you for that, Christel. Christel, I want to take, this name's jumping out at me. This person's jumping out at me. I want to just do one more question. This is from Maya in California. Hi, Christel.
Okay.
I'm feeling like I have 2 antennas instead of a clear source connection. Is there some kind of division of reception of the divine that this could be a cord? Thank you. Love you millions.
Yeah. This is interesting, though, because it's like 2 cords that have been cut, and it's almost looking like a Y, where the base of the Y is inside your head, the central channel, and then the Y part of the Y is coming up and out. But that is remnants. Those are remnants of 2 dual cords coming together and anchoring in, okay? Let's see what percentage this is taking from you. So it's about 54% of your energy it's taking, and they're saying it's taking from the clairgnostic and the clairvoyant. So it comes down and it actually impacts your sinus cavity and your eyes. Okay, now let's see how many past lives we're looking at for this one. So this was only 4 past lives ago that this occurred. And the emotional energy that I'm seeing here is about feeling useless, kind of inferior, uncertain, and distrustful with your abilities. So there was someone outside of you that kind of took this authoritative stance over you and wasn't allowing you to feel your glorious nature, right? Feel your deservability to hold the light, to be the beautiful, radiant you see? So it's definitely impacting. So yes, I would say remove that, because it's like a plug in there as a cord. And then once we remove that, then the central channel can start to move up through the soul star and really create the beautiful loving connection and be able to have you embody the light that we're talking about, the illumination experience.
The illumination, yes. Oh my goodness. Well, Christel, thank you for that. And thank you. I mean, this has been such a richly illuminating discussion. There's so much here, and I feel like we could go on and on and on. It's just, it's so fascinating. But I love what you are bringing forth as really looking at this process of extracting the cords as that pathway to illumination. It's a process. It's not just an action. It really is a process of opening and awakening that I imagine could be repeated more than once, to really help deepen that. Thank you for bringing this forward. If you're listening in, so much of what Christel has talked about when people come to me for issues with the body, I see these very dynamics playing out. And where, this is a great way to really go in and get to the root of what's going on and release so many of those energies that are impacting the body, or maybe they haven't impacted the body yet on the physical level, and maybe they're skewing the information that's coming in. I mean, this is such a brilliant way to really do a nice, thorough release and open yourself up. So that, one of the things that you mentioned, Christel, that was so important is that so that you can really start to come into understanding and open up to what's wanting to come through for you and not being relying on someone outside of self. So, Christel, it's so brilliant, so reasonable. You've got those calls with Sophie. You want to get in on that. That's such a beautiful, beautiful, powerful addition to the program. So get in now. Get the information you need so you know when to be ready for it. And Christel, thank you again. I would love to just know, are there any additional thoughts or words that you want to leave with everyone here today before we disconnect from the call?
I believe that it's the possibility that I want to bring forward. I want everyone to really just sit in everything that we went through, because again, there's intensity with what we learned today. And yet we want to surrender. We want to relax into that. We want to really be in gratitude that we have heard this today. I'm always so grateful when these things get downloaded and shown to me, and it's really making sense, and we're understanding ourselves in such greater ways. But it is time. Everything comes to us, and they come to us because the circumstances and situations that are in our environment are wanting to present opportunity, right? And so again, where we're sitting now on this earth plane and how the earth herself is wanting to upgrade, we have the capacity to take advantage of this moment. And in doing that, we're not only playing our role to support the earth's up-leveling, to hold us as we evolve, right? But we're contributing our consciousness and our awareness in such a loving way, because again, as we remove the toxic energy, the toxic cords, the remnants, and we extract with a level of attention, we are upgrading our masculine and feminine, and we are repartnering in such a beautiful collaborative way that we are communing with the divine dance. And so that's how I'm seeing it. Let's all come into a place of that deeper level of communion, connection, communication, understanding, responsibility, and awakening. So that we truly are feeling satisfied in our being. We are knowing that it is happening. We're knowing that it's happening. Yes. So that's our possibility right now. Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that beautiful communing with the dance of the divine. It's so precious. And, just with Christel, this is her powerhouse, really supporting opening to what wants to express through. She's devoted her whole, everything she does is really about opening to that greater knowing of self, and it's so beautiful. And so, it's going to be extremely valuable, as she mentioned, and really essential. I mean, if you really want to open up and be available to what's wanting to come through you, don't hesitate, jump in. Christel, thank you again so much for your time, your presence, your energy, your support here. Thank you for holding the beautiful container for this summit to bring us all together in these times of community and connection so that we can all open to the greater energy that wants to move in and through. We're so blessed. So blessed to have you here on the planet supporting all of us in this community. To all of you listening in, thank you. Thank you for being present. Thank you for being open, available, for taking the action that really serves and support you, because as you open up, you are a contribution. The more you open up to the higher energies of self, you are a contribution to the planet. You're a contribution to collective consciousness. And so in serving yourself, you are serving the world and others, and it's so beautiful. And I thank you for being such a precious part of this community and joining us here on these calls and on the replays and in this space. So thank you so much for being here. We always, always, always want to thank Divine Mother, Divine Father, all the beautiful beings of love, light, power, and service, the elementals, devas, Mother Earth, Father, Son, our higher selves, all the angelic beings, all the beautiful beings that are here supporting us in this space and on our evolutionary journeys through this time of awakening. So thank you to all the beings. And so from my heart to yours, sending love and blessings out until we meet again on the next call. Take care and bye for now.
Bye.